So, Valve just announced the newest innovation in the gaming market, the Steam Machine. While many people are hyped for this announcement, I can't lie, I'm a little skeptical. Will this device truly be the dual PC setup / MU machine that everyone's been dreaming of? We're gonna go through this whole analysis and we're gonna have to take this step by step. First, we need to find out if this thing can play all of our favorite games. The specs on this thing are somewhat hard to decipher, given that a lot of them are custom parts. So there's no brand for all of them, but if we can get a good idea on what's really running on it, and it gives us an immediate point in this device's favor. A Zen 6 processor, 2TB SSD, and a microSD option for more storage, with 16GB of memory, another 8GB dedicated to VRAM itself, is honestly nothing to scoff at. It's about what you'd expect when getting a budget gaming PC. In fact, these exact stats are what most of all Steam users have as a computer for Steam game, at least according to the 2025 October Steam survey. That being said, this should mean that this machine will be able to run most Steam games on the market right now, and running it all on an insanely small form factor to boot, roughly around 6 inches in all dimensions. That being said, this isn't exactly the reason why I'm worried. Future-proofing is defined as making a product or system unlikely to become obsolete or fail in the future. And this is where I think this system, ironically enough, fails. Unlike a PC, which can just be customized and upgraded for relatively cheaper prices over time than just rebuying a console like a PS5 or Nintendo Switch, this system doesn't mention anything about replacing parts. And I think that it'll most likely follow a standard console and laptop practice of having everything sutured into a device so you can't remove any of its guts. Not making it impossible, but relatively difficult for your average gamer to upgrade, and having to rebuy the device in a few years when the standards of gaming increase yet again. It's not like it hasn't done it before. But at this point, you'd probably be thinking, but Mary, isn't that what console gamers have to go through all the time? And the answer is yes. However, this is where the crux of the problem kind of really makes itself known. Answer me this. How much is it for a new Steam machine? The answer is simple. We don't know yet. The price for the system hasn't been revealed yet, but we want to use some predictive reasoning to try to see if we can figure it out. The Steam Deck's OLED's most powerful version is currently, at the day of writing this script and recording this video, $649, with another $79 for the Steam Dock itself. So about $728 for your whole setup, not including tax in USD, of course. Keep in mind that this system that we are talking about, though, is much more powerful than a Steam Deck and has even more gigabytes of hard drive space. You know, if you're sensible and realize that games are so big nowadays, you need 2 terabytes of hard drive space to even keep up with them. The index as well was a clean $700 itself, including its controllers. And seeing as you're getting a VR peripheral for this device, I'm gonna assume that it is very suited for doing VR gaming. There is also an analyst's opinion to consider. According to several articles talking about the Steam machine with different analysts, this could range from prices to $550 to around $1,000 if they aren't working at a loss. That being said, this whole stuff makes me suspect that if we're really going for a profit here, Valve will most likely put the price of this device at around $800 to $900, which is far more than any particular console is. Which, keep in mind, a lot of this marketing and branding is aiming towards console gamers getting a more advanced version of their system and being able to play their Steam games on something similar to a console. That being said, at that point, you would just need to get a budget PC that you can upgrade easier instead of this thing, or save a few hundred for even stronger PC. But again, do keep in mind, this is my own educated guess. With how much money Valve makes from their software and Steam sales, they can easily make this device cheaper, no problem. That being said, that's the real issue here. Will they operate at a potential loss to make this device more affordable? Personally, I don't think so. I don't really have the faith when it comes to companies to be able to do something that would also be good for the consumer, but really only time can tell. I'm not friends with anyone in the Steam offices or anything after all. That being said, it has been stated in an interview with IGN that the device will be made with modification and tinkering in mind. So that is something to look forward to, and hopefully means that it can be upgraded in the future depending on how they set up this system. There is just one potential other problem with the hybrid that I don't want to overlook before really giving a final verdict: the OS itself. The system's running off of SteamOS 3.0, the same OS that the Steam Deck is using. And while it should mean that this system should be able to run things better than a PC can with things like Windows and Mac on it, and would allow you to play with a lot of EMU machines, this can also lead to a few problems regarding the device's ability to run some games. Certain games and programs are designed to run on Windows and Mac, and while Linux usually has a workaround to this, it is the heart and soul of this device, which means that a good portion of programs and mods you would run easily on a regular PC could be a challenge to figure out without a guide, or replacing the OS with Windows, but that would kinda kill a decent chunk of some of the positives that this machine has. Games with easy anti-cheat are also notorious for not running on the Steam Deck because it's counted as a console that, unless registered by specific programmers that take the time to essentially turn it on in their settings, won't run on Proton, which is the thing that Steam Deck uses. That being said, assuming that this system will be the same, this OS will be the same OS that they're using, as they have mentioned, then yeah, this is something that is probably going to be a problem. So anything with easy anti-cheat, stuff like Paladins for instance, will not be able to work on Steam Deck. Nothing like a deal breaker, but I think it's something to keep in mind when we're really talking about purchasability. So is the Steam machine going to be the game-ending purchase that the internet is saying it is? Honestly, I don't know, man. It really all depends on that price tag. If this system is $600 or less, then I'd say it's worth it. If it's $700 or over and can be easily upgraded, then I'd also say it is, just due to that convenience factor. But if it's about $700 or over and you have to keep rebuying new ones in a few years to play any types of games, then it's definitely not worth the price. Nowhere near in this economy. But with most of these things, only time can really tell, I guess. That being said, what do you think? Am I stupid, crazy, insane for thinking that this may be a little too much for people to stomach? Let me know in the comments. I'm always a big fan of the discussion, especially when it comes to these kind of videos. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and until next time, later.